Well, I was born into a deeper life family.
Deeper life.
My mother was deeper life. My father was deeper life, and
You were born into a deeper life family, and you are here today. Please continue.
And I realized that anytime they are chanting a regular, you know, I enjoy the chant. You know, and funny thing, they bring food, they bring everything to our house. Our parents reject it, but then their persistency level was so high that I got to a point my mother started accepting it.
Okay.
Say, hello, Danu. That was when we started chopping for food.
So
not knowing that, so but then the turning point was that I found solace in the Ifa temple, and it got to the point I was disowned by the family.
You were disowned?
Yes, my mother disowned me. I was disowned by the family. Nobody wanted to see me. My brother. Last week, I just did initiation for 2 of my younger brothers.
Oh wow! So that people understand it.
So you have the knowledge to do and undo.
Good.
So, as a father of miseries, it's one of the noblest job you can. In fact, the greatest benefit one can do to mankind is to be able to say, no, I can change your life from the position of from a circumstance where you have nothing, from nobody to some. A Babalawo has the criteria, the resources to move you from being a nobody to being somebody.
Oluwo, looking at this now, your setup, everything here, I'm just amazed. I'm amazed. And you mentioned that this is a fig tree. So how important it is, and we know. Let's even start from where we heard the fig tree from. This was the fig tree Jesus was talking about. So now your base is at this under a fig tree. So what's the importance of this tree?
Well, to me personally, this is the house of the Araba of this community.
Araba of this community.
Yeah, this is Odumola.
Okay.
Ile Araba Odumola lati wa Ilolo bai.
Araba, what does Araba mean?
Araba is the highest hierarchy in the fast spectrum.
Okay.
So Araba is the head of all the conglomerate of Oluwos.
Okay.
Oluwo ba wa Oluwo le oríṣiríṣi. Ẹni tó bá ti kọ́fà yanranti tó ti kọ́fà tán tó ti di babaláwo tó ti ń tẹ̀fá tó ti ń dákin ó ti dolúwo. You get my point?
Yes.
So there are so many Oluwos around. So in a community, the people come together and say, okay, who is going to be our leader?
Okay.
So the Araba is the leader of all the Oluwo, and automatically means he's the leader of the traditionalists
in that
community.
In that community.
So the fire of the community is with the Araba.
Okay.
So it is in the Araba house that, or in any designated place by the Araba, that the Babalawos do their meetings and all that.
Okay.
So the Araba for Odumola, who happens to be my own boss,
okay,
owns this house.
Okay.
And actually gave it to me as a sign of a way of saying that
like freedom.
Yeah.
Oh, and he gave it to you.
So he specifically instructed me that to bá ti dé ìlú tí mo ní kó lọ jogún léyìí igi kan wà ńbẹ̀ ibẹ̀ ni kó ti máa dáfá o. So first of all, oríṣiríṣi onírúurú iṣẹ́ ni ọ̀pọ̀tọ́. Fig tree is ọ̀pọ̀tọ́ in Yoruba land.
I know. There's a song that I know that.
Number one, I'm ṣe àwọ̀rò. This for àwọ̀rò. By default, because kò síbi tó wà kó wà nínú thick forest, ẹyẹ máa wà débẹ̀. That seeds tó máa ń jẹ.
Okay, so the birds are, this is very, like, they like it a lot.
Ó máa invite àwọn oríṣiríṣi àdán máa ń wá bí. Máa ń jókòó síbi lálẹ́ báyìí, àdán máa ń ṣe lórí mi.
Àdán?
Yeah, that's bath.
Bath, okay.
So you know bath sits in darkness. So in the night time like this, my own personal time only one bit. For not so okay, my dafa me where. Then but to disturb me, to out of the wahala of social media and all that. I just stay on my own and do my thing.
Okay.
So that's one. Secondly is that it is very good for blood rejuvenation. So if you look at the back,
okay,
I've peeled some of the back. Anytime I feel like kò sẹ́jẹ̀ lára mi mọ́, kí wọ́n kọ́ sí lásán, oògùn ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó dájú ni. So yeah, very good blood. You will sleep. It will revitalize your blood cells and all that. So there are so many things. See, ọ̀pọ̀tọ́ and ọ̀pọ̀tọ́ tó jẹ́ igi tó dá. So and it's also a very spiritual tree. If you notice that, man gbé ìpèsè síbẹ̀. So it's more or less like ìpèsè is food that you give to the witches and all that. So it's an avenue to always reach out to commune with spiritual world and all that. So that is the essence of the victory and all that.
That's the significance.
Yes.
Of it. Okay, so looking at you now, if I saw you on the road, I would not. The only way I would know that probably you are a traditionalist or a Babala or Oluwo is probably with the beads on your hands. Because look at you, young boy. Look at your AirPods, man. iPhone killer low, iPhone X Max,
iPhone 11.
iPhone 11. Can you imagine? So you can introduce yourself now, like people, so that they would know who you're speaking with.
My name is Oluwo Olakunle Olawole, Babalawo, and I am an Ifa priest and a tech enthusiast.
Okay.
So I am a young priest. I became an Oluwo at a very tender age, at 27.
27, okay.
And not just that. The reason why I'm like this is because over time, a lot of people think that a Babalawo is somebody who is rejected by society, somebody who society cannot come close to.
Okay.
So but then, the Babalawo profession is a very noble profession. Because as a father of miseries, onímọ̀ okun ayé ìwọ ló akókun ayé lọ́wọ́ onímọ̀ tó lè fi dáyé rú onímọ̀ tó lè fi táyé ṣe onímọ̀ tó lè fi tún nǹkan ṣe onímọ̀ tó lè fi.
I need to say that in English so that people understand it.
So you have the knowledge to do and undo.
Good.
So as a father of miseries, it's one of the noblest job you can. In fact, the greatest benefit one can do to mankind is to be able to say no. I can change your life from the position of from a circumstance where you have nothing, from nobody to some. A Babalawo has the criteria, the resources to move you from being a nobody to being somebody. Okay. So that person, that job, human development I believe it is human development.
Human development.
Because taking somebody who has nothing to offer the community and all that, somebody who Babalawos are government is supposed to be paying Babalawo for helping in an environment where the economy is so bad, so worse, and then there are people who have the spiritual knowledge to help you, not just the community, not just the people, the community, companies, and whatever you move from a state of nothing to having a drastic turnaround in their way of life, in their economic activities, their financial life, and all that. So it is a very noble profession. So, and it is the practitioners that have not practiced this profession in such a noble way. That is why anything that would probably tarnish the image of a priest, I run away from it. Okay. I don't drink openly. I don't drink alcohol. You cannot see me drinking alcohol in my place of work. I don't do all those things because I don't dress dirtily. I relate because myself as a Babalawo, I've asked myself, why am I a priest? I think that I'm a priest to be an ambassador for young people in my own generation who want to come back into Isheshe. But then, the stereotype that is attached to Isheshe will not let them come back. Okay. So we have to make them see that you can practice Isheshe and still be the best you want to be. So I am practicing Isheshe, I'm educated, I studied electrical engineering.
You studied electrical engineering?
Yes.
Okay.
And I still want to, I'm currently studying information technology at Open University. Okay. I still want to further. I want to be a professional from Harvard. So if all those are my aspirations, yes, and I'm a priest, there is nothing stopping you who is not a priest, who are from becoming whoever you want to become. So a Babalawo is a noble profession, and as such, I would not denigrate myself. I will not denigrate this noble profession by looking. There's nothing that says that I should not ride the Benz. There's nothing that stops me from using an iPhone 11. There's nothing that stops. For instance, we're working on a project to ensure that we can resonate the knowledge of Ifa with contemporary technology. Yes. When I welcomed you the other time, I was putting on a shirt that says Ifa, Afrofuturism and Tech. Yes. Now it's still a budding project. It's still not. Okay,
still an idea.
It's still coming up. But then we are moving with tech companies, software programmers, and all that to say, come, Ifa Soro, Omula is the greatest programmer of all time. Okay. And there are so many secrets embedded in the knowledge of Ifa, but because we as people, we are selfish people. There's nobody that has come to Babalawo to come and do the nation for say, okay, what is my economic policy in my environment? What is the policies? What kind of policies should we propose to our government when it comes to environment, when it comes to technology, when it comes to transportation, when it comes to this? The only thing that everybody comes to do is cut soap for me. Cut soap. Give me. I want to have money. I want to marry a wife. I want to do this. I want to. So we personally, we have reduced the knowledge of our ancestors to what can only be personal for us. Money,
And it's supposed
food.
to be from a general.
You know, we need to raise the beauty of our spirituality to a level of national consciousness. The people need to see that. So with Ifa talks about foreign policy, Ifa talks about, there is nothing Ifa has not talked about. So we can use, countries use the knowledge of Ifa to determine what they do. Go to Cuba. People who use the knowledge of Ifa to talk about the scientific progress.
I'm sure Brazil again.
You know, so many things like that. And then, but it's unfortunate that we are here in Nigeria, where you have the provincial babalawos of the world, people who study, there is knowledge in this Africa or this Nigeria, but yet we have downplayed, we have downgraded that knowledge to mo fẹ́ fẹ́ yàwó, mo fẹ́ ra mọ́tò, mo fẹ́ ra ilẹ̀. Naturally, if you don't do jazz, you will buy land. If you don't do jazz, you will marry your wife. Obviously, you need divine directions to take some steps you want to take. But then, can we not as a people infuse this knowledge into our societies and then let people begin to see that the knowledge of Ifa is not just sacred, it's not just personal and all that. It can be used for community, because our forefathers designed this knowledge for communal development.
Okay.
So we cannot relegate this knowledge to personal development. And at the end, the personal development is personal destruction, because at the end of the day, you go to Babalawo house and everything they give to you is ebu, you drink jazz, you take soup, you do, and then all those things, you will not know, you should not notice. They had no value to your lives. Because if I saw we pay ogun lo lọ́jọ́ kan ìpọ́njú, aya mo lo ipa lórúkọ tá pogun. So it's like going to a microfinance bank to take a loan. Okay. First of all, you don't know the collateral that you have used in taking that loan, because obviously you cannot take a loan without some collaterals or some things that you
at least you have to drop something.
So, but you are going to a bank, you don't know the bank manager, you don't know the terms and conditions for the loan.
Okay.
And you just get to Babalawo house. That's you get to my house before I can say, okay, take this soap. So you understand my point? It's soap. Is give me something to lick, give me something to.
Just
so there are processes.
People are looking for instant solutions to problems that need a lot more time to be solved. So
and they are invariably adding much more problems to themselves, not knowing. Because if you look at it, if you go to some people's house, I have clients who, when they open their cupboard for me, I me that Babalawo like Jesus,
you say Jesus,
because if you look at it critically, you realize that people are ignorant.
Okay. Including
Babalawos like I am.
Okay.
They are ignorant.
How so?
Very good. We no longer listen to the word of Ifa.
Okay. So how does it work? And I mean how does somebody come to divine or come and seek solutions from a priest? If you want to go to a church now, sometimes you don't even need to go to a church. You just say a prayer where you are. Or sometimes you need to see the pastor, you have to go to him and ask. Or you go to the altar and you pray to Jesus, or you go to the mosque and you pray to Allah. So how does it work here? So if I came now, somebody described you that, okay, there's one powerful Oluwo that can help you. How would that work? Do I just come? And
you see, a lot of people fail to realize that a Babalawo is majorly like an interpreter. Okay. Like a middleman between what is spiritual and what is physical. So Orishas, it's like a pantheon of Orishas. Okay. And then there's somebody who explains, who interprets. So once you come for divination, what you have just done is that you have asked a cosmic question. Okay. What is my problem? And the Babalawo does divination. So using the divination material, it could be the Okpele, it could be the Kinfa, like my Ifa here, and whichever means of divination the Babalawo goes through. Whatever happens, there is a code. There are information coded in numerical values that are being sent through the odus of Ifa. So for instance, now let's assume that you came for divination and I divine for you. You know, the language of the cosmic is numerical. Okay. And it is how potent a priest is in the divine language of the extraterrestrial that determines how he can interpret. Okay. So what the priest does is that he is vast in the language of the cosmic. Okay. So once an Odu comes out
after he's done
with that divination, so the first thing that comes out is the Odu, more or less like the chapter where the problems and all these things is being discovered. Okay. So there are determinants. We call them Igbo. So the determinant determines, is this chapter, is it from the positive point of view or from the negative? Because life is based on polarities. Okay. So we begin to ask, what polarities are we talking about here? Is it from a positive point of view? Is it from a negative point of view? Because Yorubas believe that so it is very wrong for a Babalawo to say pé orí ibi, Ifá kì í rí ibi.
The Babalawo cannot tell you.
If I say that is there's something we need to check deeply. Okay. So it mean like if it is EBO, for instance, you want to go and marry a lady, and now do the nation for you, and the nation is a Jogbe. Okay. If I now say, instead of if I have to say Ire, if I didn't say Ire, I will not tell you that if I was a Ire, I can say if I make Kole. Okay. Because with this belief that anything that makes an elderly person say, there's so many things attached to it. So what we now do further is to ask, kí ni ìdí tó ṣe make Kole? Kí ni ìdí tó ṣe kun? Kí ni ìdí tó sọ pé kí ni ìdí tó sọ pé rárá o? Ifá sọ pé òun rẹ́jọ́. Ifá sọ pé mo rógun ni, òfò ni mo rí, ikú ni mo rí, nǹkan báyìí ni mo rí. Ó dá kí la máa wá ṣe tí kò fi ní síkú. So there are like 4 pillars of divination. First of all, to know the major so basically major source of the problem. What you are saying is the polarity of the problem. Okay. The determinant that comes to the polarity. If we know the polarity is positive. So there are so many things in life is based on polarities. We have positive and negative, male and female, area, B and all that. So the difference between the mathematical approach to science and our approach to science is in language. Okay. We say ire, you say plus. We say EB, you say minus. You understand? So it's just the same thing. So there are categories of ire and there are categories of EB.
You are just giving credit to the fact that Ifa is a lot more than what we see in films.
Yes.
And because I know that
in films they don't follow, and I am using this opportunity to say this. Whatever you see in Nollywood, majority of what you see in Nollywood is wrong.
It's wrong
from what a priest is. Okay. Number one, when you came to this place now, have you seen any red place tied and any dangling all around? Have you seen anything scary? Have you seen anything? This is not Nollywood. This is how a priest looks like. Some priests, because I decide to divine outside my house. My house is here. I can divine inside. But then I chose to because I like the breeze that comes from the nature of this victory. No matter what I game, that family no problem. So, kò sí nǹkan tó dàbí ẹni pé èèyàn fẹ́ pààyàn àbí èèyàn kan fẹ́ ṣe kíní kan àbí èèyàn fẹ́ Babalawo is not as dirty as people think Babalawos and all that. So not to digress, there are classes of ire. So but then the highest class of ire is Aiku. Life. So the greatest level of positivity is to be alive. Okay. And the opposite of life is death. Okay. So the greatest negativity is Iku. Okay. So that's why it is Aiku, Lori Ifa, or Iku. Because anything about there's nothing that cannot happen to such a person. Okay. There's no positivity that person cannot achieve. Okay. Victory, Aje, financial blessings, Omo, and so on and so forth. But after Iku, Ogun, Ejo, Allah, Idamu, and all sorts like that. So after that, if I will not tell you what the problem is in details without giving you a solution to it.
So as he's telling you this is the problem, there's a solution.
There is for every problem on the face of the heart, there is a solution.
There's a solution. And if
I'm asking to one lay lójú ọpọ́n yìí tí mo ti rí èjì ògbè yìí Ògún ni Ògún náà.
Oh, okay.
For every challenge that you face, for everything that happens to you in life, there is a force behind it. Okay. So every force of nature has a structure. So there is a force that is peculiar to Ishu. Okay. There's a force of nature that is peculiar to Ogun. There's a force of nature that is peculiar to Yami and Shongu and all that, dependent on the parts of the work they do. Okay. You know, Ishu is probably known for
mischievous.
Ogun is pathfinder and all that. So maybe you are finding it difficult, like everybody is making way in this same place I am. I'm not making way. So it could be that the energies of Ogun is against you in that line. So once you do divination, if I will let you know, first of all, if you are a competent Babalawo, you will know from the old before that you have divined that Ejogbe. Who is Ejogbe? That means that Ogun ni ó wà lójú ọpọ́n yìí.
Okay.
So ogun ló ń sọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. So if I will not tell you that it is a problem that is here o. Eégún ni kẹ́ lọ bá o. Eégún ló máa bá ẹ bẹ Ògún. So ogun máa fi gbọ́.
So that means as he's telling you the problem,
there's
solution
obviously a solution.
is always following. Okay, so let's take a breather now. Let's start from the very beginning for you.
Okay.
You just told me you studied electrical engineering.
Yeah.
And you became an Oluwo at 37 or 27.
Yeah.
How old are you presently?
I'm 29.
You're 29. Yeah. So you've been in let me use the normal street language. You've been in the game for how long?
I've been in there for God knows when.
For God knows when. So what happened? You're a 29-year-old. You became an Oluwo at 27. Obviously, you had been doing things before you became an Oluwo.
Yeah, so I was conferred. The title of Oluwo was because you cannot just give yourself Oluwo.
Yeah, but when you went through the trainings and everything.
Even after going through the training, there has to be conferment.
Conferment.
You can't just wake up one morning and say it's Oluwo.
Okay.
So even after studying, even after practicing on your own, you know, the people look at you and then they begin to say, this person is worthy of being an Oluwo.
Yes. Okay.
You know, so you cannot just confer yourself. So it is my temple. This is John Mela Papa Odu that conferred the title of Oluwo upon me.
Okay. Okay. So why did you even decide that this is what you wanted to do?
Well, not like I decided though. If I tell you,
it was decided for you. Let's do it in the shortest possible way. In the summary, you summarize how you got to this point.
Well, I was born into a deeper life family.
Deeper life.
My mother was deeper life. My father was deeper life, and
you were born into a deeper life family, and you are here today. Please continue.
And it's unfortunate that if I saw you paying if I to be me, if I need any more gun on the cafe lawyer aro, I'm okay. She ni cafe lawyer ku.
English.
Ẹrú òní nílé ló cafe lawyer orí wa.
Àwọn ìpọ̀ gan.
Káwé ni rere kó kọ́ wa nífá. Káwé ènìyàn tàtà kó gbà wá níbò. Àwọn dìbòdìbò tó dìlé ṣe wọn ò díire. Adífá fọkùnrin kọ̀kọ̀ tó ń ti lè fẹ́ kọ̀ wọ́n ní kó kalẹ̀ ẹ̀bọ̀n kó máa ṣe. Àbúrò kan fọkùnrin gbàgbà tó ń ti lè fẹ́ gbà wọ́n ní kó kọ̀ náà kalẹ̀ ẹ̀bọ̀n kó máa ṣe. Ǹjẹ́ gbogbo ibi tó ń bẹ nílẹ̀ ńkọ́ orí mi kọ̀ fún mi, àyà mi kọ̀ fún mi. Gbogbo ibi tó ń bẹ nílẹ̀ ńkọ́ orí mi gbà fún mi, àyà mi gbà fún mi. Mo jẹ́ ẹran kọ̀ọ̀kan mẹ́fà orí awó kọ́ bí. Mo jẹ́ ọ̀gàdàgbà mẹ́fà orí awó gbàre, which means this is a destined journey for me. You know, how I found myself in this environment still looks challenging to me. Because not like I had a problem and I was talking to Babalawo and they said, you must become a Babalawo. First of all, I walked to a Babalawo's house.
By yourself? By
myself. How
old were you?
So I was in GSS2.
Okay.
In Alakuko.
Okay.
When that happened, I went to Oluwo Olawale's place. Because while my parents had issues, we moved to Songwater.
Okay.
And then, funny enough, we were living beside the Babalawo's house.
Okay.
So there were strict warnings for us not, you know, but me, I realized that anytime that they are chanting, you know, I enjoy the chant. You know, and funny thing, they bring food, they bring everything to our house. Our parents reject it, but then their persistency level was so high that I got to a point my mother started accepting it. Okay. Say, hello, Danu. That was when we started chopping for food.
So they take away.
Not knowing that, so but then the turning point was that I found solace in Ifa temple. So I started moving, and then my first point of contact with Ifa was with people who were educated. Okay. So I'd be like, these are professors I'm seeing now. These are educated people I'm seeing now. This is master. My Oluwo was a PhD person. These are people who, I say, come. This fire is not as bad as people say it is bad. So from just I started sneaking to Ifa house. Started sneaking to Ifa house. Till I finished secondary school. Till I had the leverage to be going to Ifa house and sleeping there and doing all sorts. So I learned Ifa, not because I had any iota of the fact that I wanted to become a priest. So I studied because I loved it.
Out of natural
curiosity. Out of curiosity, out of my curious listening. Okay. So while I was in school, my parents thought I was in school. I was able to go out and be studying Ifa on my own. I was enjoying it. Okay. Irrespective of the suffering that was attached to it. Because iṣẹ́ ńlá ni mo ṣe kí n tó kọ́fà ńlá. Ìyà ńlá ni mo jẹ́ kí n tó mọ̀ bó gbà. So, but then I thank God for where I am today. And it got to a point I was disowned by the family.
You were disowned?
Yes, my mother disowned me. I was disowned by the family. Nobody wanted to see me, my brother. Last week, I just did initiation for 2 of my younger brothers.
Oh, wow.
This Last
week.
this last week.
So before we even continue, we are supposed to do this that last week.
Yes, it was that. It was one of the reasons why we're not able to do that.
So your family is accepting now?
Well, they had no choice because first of all, whatever you want to do in life, be good at it. Okay. So the fact that I won't say I'm good at what I do as such, like, but then my parents began. One of the testimonies was there was a day. You got the point I was in divination for my parents, my family, because obviously I was disowned. Mm-hmm. They don't no go area. So it got to a point. Mo da fa fún mami. Mo da àwọn ni ọlọ́gbọ́n. Okay. As a warning worry. So if I now says that my mother is plaiting hair currently, like she finishes that hair and she sleeps over, she become mad. Mad ke. So I picked my phone, I called her. Graciously she picked the call. Okay. I told her, so I don't want to know what you are doing now, but I know you are plaiting your hair. Don't complete that hair that you are making. If you finish making that hair, you will run mad. I hanged up the phone. She didn't call back till about 4 days after. So on the 4th day, she called me back. She said, how did I know? She said before that time, she had been having symptoms like she'll be talking to people and then she'll just lose track of what she's saying. And then she'll be communicating with another person. And then she will not remember where the conversation was coming from or what it was leading to. She'll just hang in between. I'm like, are you on top of lórí ni àwọn ẹlẹ́yẹ ló ń gbá geography lórí orí So it got to the point where I started giving her prophecies. Okay. So she will not do whatever I tell her to do, but she will listen to the prophetic part of my divination. And stuff like that. And then as time goes by, you know, there is this family bond. She just have to take me for who I am. So
even after she had done the opposite,
you know, now at least she left 2 of my brothers for me to do this for them. She has vowed that we will never have anything to do together when it comes to do your thing, let me do my thing. Okay. But then me, I believe that God is already touching her because I know of a fact that every means of communicating with God is valid.
Every means of communicating with God.
So, but then there can be no more valid means than a means designed physically for you, that is ingenious to your body system, that is ingenious to you as a person.
As a person.
So we are Africans. Ọmọ Yorùbá ni wá. Ọlọ́run ò ṣe mistake tó dá mi sí Germany. Tó fi dá mi sílẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Ṣé mo gbọ́ àwọn bíbù kan wá ń gbàdúrà pé wọ́n náà kí ló tẹ̀ dá mi sí London, dá mi ní kí ló dé Èkó ìdìbò wá wà.
Very good. Gbogbo wa la ní specific reasons. Tàfi wà lórílẹ̀-èdè ayé yìí. If not for the fact that a lot of us consider growth. We look at growth from the prism of financial remunerations. I believe when to ba low lagba. You will not know for the fact that you are being created in this part of the world. Ọlọ́run nífẹ̀ẹ́. Because if I sọ pé òtòrò, òtàrà, ajakoro gbélé, àgbàdídì kìdìdà pínlá, ọjọ́ tá pín ẹ̀là, ọjọ́ náà la pọ́njọ́, ọjọ́ tá pọ́njọ́ náà la pínlá. Ìdè la pín fún oníwẹ̀lẹ́kẹ́gẹ́, àgbẹ̀ la pín fún olú ìbíní, ajé la pín fún òyìnbó, etí la pín fún Ọ̀rúnmìlà báragbọ́n ní Ògún. So it got to a point, if I is saying that at a particular point, God was sharing some of his attributes to the different races of life. Okay. If they talk about Ọ̀rúnmìlà is like the progenitor of the African race. He's our prophet. So God shared some of his attributes with different races. Wọ́n ní àgbẹ̀ la pín fún olú ìbíní, òwò la pín fún òyìnbó, òwò tàbí ajé in some town wọ́n máa pé òwò, in some part of Yorùbá they say ajé. So ajé la pín fún olú òyìnbó, but etí la pín fún Ọ̀rúnmìlà. What that means is that what is the etí that Ifa is talking about there, the king father we have. Okay. The king father we have is not Ifa. Because the river, the king father we have is etí Ifá, like an IP address that we can always access Ifá from. Okay. You get my point? So that in talk me for me la ni tom la pé fa wa. Okay. So we as Africans ní IP address Ọlọ́run láti lè gbọ́ wọn Ọlọ́run directly. So la ní etí Olódùmarè. We as Africans are those who have direct access to communicating with God, because if I make us understand that when God was sharing his attributes for mankind, he shared his ears to Ọ̀rúnmìlà.
Direct communication.
This if I'm far away from you, once you call upon me, I will listen. So once you have Ifá, you have etí Olódùmarè, torí etí la pé formula and ikin Ifá lọ jogún formula so yìí ìwọ tó bá ti lọ gbọ́dọ̀ bá ti dé o ti létí Ifá lọ́wọ́ o ti lè bá Ifá sọ̀rọ̀ kí Ifá gbọ́ so o ti ní etí Olódùmarè lọ́wọ́ so o ti lè bá Olódùmarè sọ direct kó Olódùmarè gbọ́ so what more do we want Olódùmarè pẹ́ fún ẹlòmíì lówó Olódùmarè fẹ́ ẹlòmíì ní agriculture Olódùmarè fẹ́ ẹlòmíì ní technology Olódùmarè wá fún wa ní etí ara ẹ̀.
The best thing now is to know how to use.
So because of the fact that we have not been able to understand whom our own God is through the prism of our own race, we might not be able to know that this is a Olódùmarè. So that is a limiting factor from our own end because we have not discovered whom we are. Ọjọ́ tí a bá mọ ẹni tá a jẹ́ lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí, the world will fear us.
The world will fear us, and hopefully that happens very soon. So you keep pointing at this calabash in front of you, and you say this is your Ifa. Why is your own Ifa inside calabash?
Well, it's unfortunate to say that my Ifa is not. This is not calabash. Calabash is this is Ikoko.
Ikoko.
Tasa.
Ikoko. What's Ikoko in English?
Yeah, Ikoko is hey, English is salo.
Okay, but we have an idea of what it is.
Yes. Now
you will say a pot.
Yes.
Okay.
A native pot.
Native pot.
Yeah. So, Ifa explains all the means of relating with him.
Okay.
In a way, but it's so unfortunate that Babalawo no longer listen to Ifa again. Be the farmer. And then so lójoojúmọ́ I would tell a lot of farmer.
Okay.
Ifa sọ fún wa wípé nǹkan báyìí ní tòun. So because Ifa àwọn òyìnbó tá à ń kó fá sí àwọn bàbá wa ló fi gbogbo òkè o máa kó fá sí àwọn òyìnbó èmi ò tí ì rí ẹsẹ̀ Ifá tó sọ pé ká máa kó fá sínú àwọn òyìnbó so I will not do anything that Ifá has not given that does not have backup from the word of Ifá.
Okay.
So tí mi ò lè fìdí ẹ̀ múlẹ̀ nínú ọ̀rọ̀ Ifá. Ifá ní ìrọ̀kẹ́ mi ìrọ̀kẹ́ idẹ. This is ìrọ̀kẹ́.
Okay.
So even the one I'm using is ìrọ̀kẹ́ igi. So this one is fashion.
Okay.
Original ìrọ̀kẹ́ is ìrọ̀kẹ́ idẹ.
What is idẹ?
Idẹ is idẹ Ọ̀ṣun. This iron.
Brass.
This brass. Yeah,
bronze.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ifá says ìrọ̀kẹ́ mi ìrọ̀kẹ́ idẹ. Ìrùkẹ̀rẹ̀ mi ìrùkẹ̀rẹ̀ ìtù. Ajé, there's a bead called itu.
Okay.
So that bead is what you use to do my own ilẹ̀kẹ̀. Okay. So if I explain all the materials
and materials you should use.
Ajere tí mo fi ń dáfá Olódùmarè ló fi fún mi. This is ajere.
Okay. And it's made from
wood. That is the essence of Olódùmarè. That is, it is made from nature.
Okay.
Adífá fún Ọ̀rúnmìlà, Ifá ń ṣa ọ lọ sínú ọpọ́n, wọ́n ní ó kalẹ̀ ẹbọ ni kó máa ṣe. That means before kó tó di pé akọ́kọ́ ń kó fá sínú kòkò, Ifá ti gbénú ọpọ́n rí. Ifá lòun ò gbénú ọpọ́n mọ́ lérè pọ́njúpọ́njú lọ́pọ́n bá òun ṣe. Ìrọ̀kẹ́ mi ìrọ̀kẹ́ idẹ, ìrùkẹ̀rẹ̀ mi ìrùkẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ̀tùn. Ajere tí mo fi ń dáfá Olódùmarè ló fi fún mi. Adífá fún Ọ̀rúnmìlà, Ifá ń ṣa ọ lọ sínú igbá, Ifá lòun ò gbénú igbá mọ́ lérè gbájúgbájú ni gbá ń bá òun ṣe. That means the calabash you mentioned earlier, Ifá has believed inside it before. But why? Tí ó sọ pé òun ò gbé mẹ́wọ̀n. Ifá now go for that to say ìrọ̀kẹ́ mi ìrọ̀kẹ́ idẹ, ìrùkẹ̀rẹ̀ mi ìrùkẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ̀tùn. Ajere tí mo fi ń dáfá Olódùmarè ló fi fún mi. Adífá fún Ọ̀rúnmìlà, Ifá ń ṣa ọ lọ sínú tásà, wọ́n ní ó ka ẹ̀bọn ni kó máa ṣe. Tásà dé o awurere, ẹ̀bá fọ̀ rí lọ tásà. Tásà dé o awurere. So first of all, our spirituality deals directly with nature.
Okay.
And this is made from nature. Iyẹ̀pẹ̀ ní inú ilẹ̀ ní Ifá ń gbé. Inú àwò tásà. Ìgbà tí Ifá lọ gbé nínú ọpọ́n. Ó ní pé ọpọ́n ò bá òun eré pọ́njúpọ́njú ni ọpọ́n ń bá òun ṣe. Òun ò lè gbé nínú. What is the reason? Because Ifá practices or does exactly all the attributes of nature. The Mr. Niger did that we practice in biology.
Yeah.
Ifá excretes. Because we excrete obviously. Aside from feces rather, we sweat. So njẹ́ lára wa a máa ń mí. Bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni Ifá ń mí. À ń jẹun. Ifá ń jẹun. À ń mu. Ifá ń mu. À ń sùn. Ifá máa ń sùn. Ǹjí. So à ń gbéyàwó. Ifá ń gbéyàwó. Ifá ń gbé ajé níyàwó. So there's nothing man would do that Ifa has not been able to do. Okay. But then, the reason why Ifa says ere ponju lokmo ba won se is because tẹ́ bá bomi sójú ọpọ́n yìí nsìn, there is no possibility that omi yẹn máa jáde lábẹ́ ọpọ́n. Okay. Máa lé lójú ọpọ́n ni. So it means that Ifa will not be able to breathe in this particular place. Okay. Tẹ́ bá bomi sínú igbá, omi ò ní jáde lábẹ́ igbá because the coating of igbá will not allow for excretion. Okay. The coating of ọpọ́n will not allow for excretion. And the coating for the ceramic that we use, the white ceramic that we use for Ifa, will not allow for excretion. That is why when you place Ifa in such condition, bí pé èèyàn fi ìnira báyàn lò. Okay, so that's why it's in a. So me, I don't know of other people. Me personally, kòkò tásà. So if you want to ask, because ẹni láti bè lọ́wọ́ èèyàn tó gbá ojú èèyàn. Okay. So ìwọ fa ibi tí mo kó ẹ sí ìṣó tẹ́ ẹ lọ́rùn. So people feel that they want to upgrade their Ifa. Before all the Oyinbos came, our forefathers have been doing Ifa now. So before the ceramic came, wọ́n ti ń kó fa oníbi tó ń kó fa sí náà. Àwọn yẹn náà wọ́n dẹ̀ jìyàn láyé Ifá ọ̀dẹ̀ lù wọ́n pa. So we have to, understand the words and the knowledge of Ifa from the point of view that Ifa itself wants us to understand. We understand. So we should not do things from perspective of where I want to beautify kini. You have to do it in a way that will suit the person you are doing it for. Okay. How about show it you? Okay. So Oluwo Olakunle is very, very vocal on social media, especially Twitter. That's why I noticed that you got a grant of some dollars. Dollars that we share for us after we are done. So I understand you got a grant for a school of etymology or something like that. I really tell us about that. The Indic Academy. Okay. Is supporting a project to talk about Ifa.
That's the Ifa podcast.
Yes. Okay. Which will launch soon. We're working on it. We're ensuring that we are inviting guests to ensure that we record and then buy some equipment to see that we own our own. We have access to our own media because we have been gagged in terms of media. The media has not been good to us. The media has not been favorable to us as a people, as a community. And for every part of the media, it has always been a stereotype or a negative stereotype towards us as a people. So first of all, we need to have our own media that is controlled by us, whose agenda is run by us. For that reason, we might not have the financial capacity to run such terrestrial media. So what we are doing is to probably launch a podcast series where we talk about Ifa and try as much as possible to put aside all the stereotypes and then educate people. Because what I've discovered, if you look at my DMs, if you look at my private messages, there are so many people that I cannot, people who are close to me can testify to the fact that I cannot reply many messages on a daily basis. Because there are so many people who are asking questions that obviously it is just normal question, but then the stereotypes that have been attached to our spirituality has affected us so badly that people were asking you that if I have Ifa, will I not die? So many things like that. So the Ifa podcast is an enlightenment series to give, because I cannot answer everybody. And we cannot, even as conglomerate of Babalawo, we cannot answer everybody. Every question. So we need to have a media platform where we can talk about, discuss, and let people know what is right from what is wrong. Okay. So if you want to take a step, and there is an advent of scammers online who leverage on the fact that people don't know their rights from their left in our environment, and then they use the opportunity to scam people of their hard-earned money. So it is tarnishing our image as priests. People, when you now tell people that this is the right way, people like, I know this cannot be the right way. I've been told. No, by I've been. Okay. So
that's basically what this series is.
So those are the things. Those are the reasons behind having a podcast series that give people knowledge,
confirm information
about Ifa. So the Indic Academy, who serves as a platform for traditional religions, it's not just the Ifa religion. There are so many religions all over the world. The Shinto, the Tai Chi, what have you. So there is a fellowship. So it is a fellowship. I become admitted as a fellow into the academy. So that we will be trained. And one of my proposed project as a fellow is that podcast. And then the academy is giving a grant of over $1,000 for buying equipment to ensure that the podcast is effective.
It's effective.
So that's what that's about.
That's interesting. So I have to say congratulations.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much.
It's not every day you get to hear Ifa priests that are getting grants and starting podcast series. It's not every day you get
we need to ensure that people understand that it's not every
day
which is a dirty person.
Which I understand. Okay. So these days we hear of people saying they are doing human sacrifice. That they'll cut somebody's head, need diogo. Or they will say if they all those ritual these things. How does it work in this kind of situation?
It does not work in this kind of situation.
It doesn't work.
Because
that's a taboo.
It's a taboo to use human for sacrifice. Irete Ogbe talked about it. Irete Meji also talked about it. Where Onumila said it. It was a taboo. It was Onumila who stopped, although it used to happen. But it was in the time of Onumila that it was stopped and then it became a taboo. So for whoever does that, there is a course that has in place on people like that.
Like people like that.
Who do so first of all, a babalawo will never use human ritual. You get. Secondly is that see, you don't necessarily need it. It is because we do not understand the ways of our orishas that we feel that you need to have the 100 goats, 1 million hen, blah 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 to be able to relate with them. We don't understand. We no longer have a cordial relationship between ourselves and our orishas. That is why we are now dabbling into fallacies. Say, what if I give him 2 goats? Whether he will accept it. Whatever we are giving. So, but then if there is a cordial relationship, you understand that this person, you know, you get. So if I say you know Berubusa, it means that if I I have to take Bolero. So if I would
so no need to go the extra mile.
You get.
So let me ask you, as somebody who is the practitioner, who knows these things, who knows and understands it, then why do we hear stories of people saying they are using somebody's eye, one leg, or they'll cut one part of your ear, or one thing, or those things?
Number one, those are not babalawos. That's one.
Oh, wait. We have to be very clear about this. Those who do human sacrifices are not babalawos.
Yeah. Babalawos don't do human sacrifice. Those who probably partake in those such nefarious acts. Let me give you instances. Number one is that if you look at it, there are so many people who have accounts, who have inherited accounts, who have, majority of all these people don't even know a Jogbe from a Yakumeji. But they know. People have formulas, spiritual formulas that if I use this with this and this, it will formulate this. And then some people just use it as, okay, let's start a business and all that. So you also understand that I talked about polarity. That there is positive polarity in life, there's negative polarity. Power has no polarity. Okay. It is the polarity of the continuum vessel that determines the polarity of power. Okay. So all these people, it is the continuum vessel that determines the polarity that they exhibit. So if you wish to do evil, I have never in my years of studying, because I didn't study in one place, I studied wide and far as a priest. I've never seen where Bala would tell me that no. So, but then you will see there are people who are proficient in herbs alone. Okay. Proficient in jazz. Okay. Alone. People who after using leaf there, let me hide this thing, and they begin to look for what is not. And then once you look for if I won't be there. So if you are looking for something powerful, you come across something powerful.
Anything I see there.
So, but then, as a priest, number one is being frank, truthfully. If I made us understand that in time immemorial, it has been done before.
It was been done before.
So it ended in the reign of Orunmila. Orunmila said it is a taboo for anybody to use human for sacrifice.
Well, okay, that's amazing. So